People think witness marriage counseling is private. They think the words "between a husband and wife" mean what those words mean in any other house. I am 26 years old. I was baptized at 14 in the Decatur West congregation in 2014. I married a brother at 18. I walked out 18 months ago. And I am here to tell you that nothing that happened in the marriage bed of any Black sister I have ever known was private. Before I tell you the questions 3 brothers asked me in a back room in November of 2024, questions read off a typed sheet, questions about what my body did and did not do for a husband I had requested a divorce from, I need you to understand something. Those questions did not start in that back room. They started in a kitchen in East Atlanta 3 days before my wedding, when I was 18, and they did not stop for 6 years. There are 4 rooms. I am going to walk you through all 4. And I am going to tell you the thing the title promises, that Black JW brides are set up to fail. Because by the end, you will see the architecture. There is no answer that does not condemn. There never was. If you stay in the room with me, do one thing for me. Add your voice in the comments. Tell me which room you remember. The kitchen before the wedding. The living room shepherding call. The hospital follow-up. The hall back room with 3 brothers and a sheet of paper. Subscribe so the next Black sister who searches for what happened to her finds this. The algorithm decides whether she finds us. You decide whether the algorithm gives her this video. The first room was a kitchen in East Atlanta on a Friday afternoon, October 11th, 2018, 3 days before my wedding. Sister Coleman, 60 years old, regular pioneer, a friend of Trey's mother for 30 years, invited me over for sweet tea and what she called a little sister-to-sister talk before the big day. I drove from my parents' house off Memorial Drive in a borrowed Honda Civic. I wore a navy skirt to the knee. I had been told to bring a notebook. Her kitchen was small and yellow, a laminated yellow tablecloth with a faded flower print. A box fan in the doorway because the air conditioner was out. A fly on the screen door that she kept getting up to wave away. She poured the sweet tea into 2 jelly jars she had washed and saved from a strawberry jam she finished in 1996. She told me which jam. I remember because I was 18 and trying to memorize everything a pioneer sister said to me. She put a pink hardcover on the table between us. The Secret of Family Happiness, 1996 edition. The same book my mother would put on the bathroom counter 3 days later, with a yellow post-it on chapter 5. Sister Coleman opened it to a chapter I had read 4 times already as a teenager. She did not ask me what I remembered. She asked me a question. She asked me if I knew what a wife is obligated to provide on the wedding night. She used the word obligated. I was 18. I nodded yes. I did not know. I had not been alone in a room with Trey Coleman for more than 12 minutes in 10 months of chaperoned courtship. I had never been alone in a room with any man in my life, she told me. She told me in the calm voice of a woman who had been told the same thing by a pioneer sister at her own kitchen table in 1986, before she married Brother Coleman. She used the phrase marital due. She quoted 1 Corinthians 7, verses 3 and 4. She told me that the wife does not have authority over her own body, that the husband does, and that this was Jehovah's loving arrangement for the protection of the marriage. She said the word protection. She poured more sweet tea. The fly came back. She got up and waved it out again. I want you to understand something about that kitchen. Sister Coleman was not cruel. Sister Coleman was a 60-year-old Black sister who had been a regular pioneer for 34 years and had given that same talk to 17 brides before me. She believed every word. She thought she was protecting me. She thought she was preparing me. She loved me in the only vocabulary the truth had given a Black sister to love a younger Black sister with. The cruelty was not in her. The cruelty was that the talk had a script, and the script had been written by men in Brooklyn who had never sat at a yellow kitchen table in East Atlanta in their lives. When I left her kitchen that afternoon, I knew 4 things about the marriage bed I had not known when I sat down. I will not catalog them here. They are not the point of this video. The point is, what I did not know I had just been entered into. I had just walked through the first of 4 rooms. There would be 3 more across the next 6 years. And every room would ask me a version of the same question. And every room would be designed so that no answer I gave would protect me. The 4 rooms are not theoretical. They are not the worst-case interpretation of a kind religion by a bitter ex-member. They are documented procedure. They are in a manual called Shepherd the Flock of God that is on the shelf of every body of elders in every kingdom hall in the country, and the Atlanta congregations are no exception. The Black congregations are no exception. The brothers at Decatur West run the same procedure as the brothers at Buckhead, and Black brides are asked the same questions white brides are asked, and the answers are written down on the same yellow legal pads. I drove back to my parents' house off Memorial Drive in the borrowed Honda Civic with my notebook closed on the passenger seat and a small, clean feeling in my chest, because I thought what had just happened to me was love. I thought a 60-year-old pioneer sister inviting an 18-year-old bride into her kitchen to read her 1 Corinthians 7 was love. I thought I was the lucky one. That is the part I do not know how to forgive myself for yet. Not the obedience, the gratitude. The second room is a living room. For me, in March of 2021, it was my own living room in Eastlake on a Sunday afternoon. 3 brothers on the couch I had bought with Trey. The reason they were there was that I had refused my husband on a Tuesday night the week before. I had said, quietly, that I was tired. Trey did not raise his voice. He called Brother Davis the next morning. By Sunday afternoon, 3 brothers were on my couch asking what had happened in my bedroom the previous Tuesday at approximately 10:45 in the evening. The mechanism is not a secret. It is in a manual called Shepherd the Flock of God. My ex-husband Trey kept his personal copy on the 3rd shelf of our bookcase in the Eastlake apartment. He read it on Sunday afternoons. He underlined passages in blue ballpoint. I am not going to read the most graphic specifics of what that manual instructs 3 brothers to ask a sister about her marriage bed. The last channel that read those specifics aloud was pulled within the hour. What I will tell you is the architecture. The architecture is this. When a sister is being prepared for marriage, she gets a private talk by an older sister, scripted to a publication. When a sister is reported by her husband for any deviation from the loving arrangement, 3 brothers visit for a shepherding call. When a sister loses a pregnancy, the elders schedule a follow-up within 72 hours to assess her spiritual condition. And when a sister requests a divorce without scriptural grounds, 3 brothers sit in a back room with a typed questionnaire and read questions for 2 hours. 4 rooms, 4 scripts, 1 body, hers, at the center of all of them. A woman wrote me last month in the comments of a different video and said the elders only ever wanted to help. She said the questions were about salvation, not the body. I want to answer her honestly. The questions are about both. They use the salvation framing to extract the body information. The brothers cannot ask a sister what happened in her bedroom for entertainment, so they ask it as her spiritual standing. The information is the same. The frame is what makes it permissible. I want to tell you about Sister Adrienne. She was 34 in 2022. She lived in a small ranch house off Eastlake Drive with her husband and 3 children. Brother Andre wanted a 4th child. Sister Adrienne did not. She had been a regular pioneer for 8 years and was tired in a way Black mothers of 3 are tired. She said no. He called the elders. 3 brothers came to the house on a Wednesday in March. I was 22. I was sent as the sister present. Witness protocol requires a married sister in the room when elders speak with another sister about the marriage bed. I sat on the couch next to her. I took notes on a steno pad. I want to be clear about what I did and did not do in that room. I did not interrupt. I did not protest. I did not look at Sister Adrian with anything but the calm sister presence I had been trained for. I wrote the questions Brother Davis asked her. I wrote her answers. When Sister Adrian started crying in the 3rd hour, I did not reach for her hand. The protocol said the sister present is a witness, not a comforter. I was the protocol. I was 22 and I was the protocol. I am telling you this so that when I tell you what happened to me in November of 2024, you understand I am not innocent of the rooms. I helped build one. I sat on a couch in Eastlake and watched another Black sister be asked whether she was withholding her body from her husband, and I wrote the questions down. The trap that has no exit. That is the phrase I have for it now, at 26, with no steno pad and no protocol. The trap that has no exit is the architecture. If a sister says yes, I have fulfilled my marital due. Then the elders ask why her husband is reporting a problem, and the answer becomes that she is lying or he is mistaken, and either answer condemns her. If she says no, I have not, then she is spiritually weak, in violation of 1 Corinthians 7, subject to further shepherding. If she says, I do not want to answer, then she is uncooperative with the elder body's loving inquiry, itself a sign of a rebellious spirit. There is no 4th answer. The questionnaire was written so there could not be a 4th answer. That is what set up to fail means. It does not mean she might fail. It means the answer that protects her does not exist on the sheet of paper Brother Davis is reading from. The back room of the Decatur West Kingdom Hall is 12 feet by 14 feet. 1 table, 4 metal folding chairs, a small high window facing the parking lot, a drop ceiling with 1 fluorescent panel that flickers slightly. My grandfather Joseph helped nail the drywall up in that room in 1987. Every time I think about the room, I think about him first. He died believing the room was holy. On the 2nd Tuesday of November 2024, at 7 o'clock in the evening, I walked into that room and sat in the chair facing the table. 3 brothers were on the other side. Brother Davis, 67, presiding. Brother Whitfield, 51, taking notes. And Brother Marcus Coleman, 58, my father-in-law, Trey's father, the man whose son had requested this meeting through his own elder body. Brother Marcus Coleman should have recused himself. He did not. No one in the room asked him to. I did not ask him to either. I had been told the night before by my mother that questioning the composition of the committee was itself a sign of a rebellious spirit. I sat down. I folded my hands. I waited. Brother Davis was not a monster. I want you to hear that before I tell you what he asked me. Brother Davis was a 67-year-old Black brother who had been an elder for 31 years and had presided over 20 judicial committees and believed each one served Jehovah. He cried when he called my mother on the Sunday night after to tell her the decision. My mother told me this later, through Aunt Diane, who heard it from a sister who heard it from his wife. Brother Davis was a man who loved his hall and loved the brothers he had appointed and loved the sisters he had spent decades shepherding. He was also the man who took a typed sheet out of a manila folder on that Tuesday evening and read me 11 questions about the marriage bed of my 6-year marriage. I will not read the 11 questions in their specific wording. I am not putting the most graphic specifics on a YouTube transcript. What I will tell you is the categories. Question 1 was about the wedding night. Question 2 was about the regularity of marital due across 6 years. Question 3 was about specific instances of refusal, when and what reasons I had given him at the time. Question 4 was about my menstrual cycle and whether I had used it as a basis for refusal. Question 5 was about the 2 miscarriages, the one in 2020 and the one in 2022, and whether I had resumed marital due within a scripturally appropriate period. Question 6 was about contraception, what kind, with whose knowledge. Question 7 was about fantasizing about a brother other than my husband. Question 8, about a man outside the truth. Question 9 was about whether refusal had been intended as discipline of my husband, which would itself be a violation of headship. Question 10 was about whether I had discussed the marriage bed with any sister outside my mother and mother-in-law. Question 11 was the question that ended the interview. I am not going to give you that one. That one belongs to me. Each question was read in the same voice, the voice of a 67-year-old black brother who loved Jehovah and who had been given the typed sheet by a circuit overseer, who had been given it by a branch office, that had been given it by men in Brooklyn, who would never have to answer any of the 11 questions about their own marriages. Trey's father wrote down my answers. He did not look up. He wrote them on a yellow legal pad, the same kind of pad I had seen him grade his son's Pioneer School homework on in 2015, when I was 16 and visiting with my mother. The same blue ballpoint, the same handwriting. I answered the questions. I answered honestly. Because at 24, I still believed lying to an elder body convened in the back room of a kingdom hall was a sin against Jehovah. And I did not yet know the entire room was already a sin against me. I answered for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Brother Whitfield filled 4 pages of notes. The 3 brothers walked out and left me alone at the table for 90 seconds while they conferred in the hallway. I counted the holes in the drop ceiling, 72 visible from where I sat. I think I was trying to make my mind do something other than understand what had just happened to me. On the following Sunday at 5:47, Brother Davis called my mother. My mother called me. She said one sentence and hung up. I will not repeat the sentence. It belongs to her. 208 days have passed since I walked out of the back room of the Decatur West Kingdom Hall and into the parking lot where my grandfather Joseph helped pour the concrete in 1986. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in central Decatur now, 2nd floor of a brick building near the MARTA station, $1,150 a month. I work part-time. I am finishing my associates at Georgia State Perimeter College. 46 boxes I packed when I left the Eastlake apartment in October of 2024 are still in a storage unit off Memorial Drive. I have not opened most of them. I do not know yet what I want from the woman who packed them. The transcript of that Tuesday evening exists on a yellow legal pad somewhere in Brother Marcus Coleman's home office in Stone Mountain, and a typed version exists in a brown accordion file in the back room of the Decatur West Hall. And the carbon copy memory of every word lives in my chest. I keep my own version in a manila folder on the 2nd shelf of the pine bookshelf I built last winter. I wrote it down from memory on the Wednesday after, sitting on the floor of this apartment. 43 pages. Aunt Diane came over that Saturday with sweet potato pie from the bakery on Memorial Drive, and she did not ask me what was in the folder. She sat on the floor with me, and we ate pie out of the tin with 2 forks. She is 62, and she left the truth in 2003. She has been the only family who calls me since November. She never asks me about Trey. She lets me say what I want to say. A woman wrote me once and asked why I'm still angry. I am not angry. I am 26 years old, and I am cataloging. There is a difference. Anger goes out, cataloging goes in. I am putting the 4 rooms on the record so that the next black sister who is invited to a kitchen in East Atlanta for sweet tea 3 days before her wedding knows that the kitchen is the first room of 4. I am putting them on the record because my younger sister Hannah turned 21 in March and was baptized in 2024 and is now the same age I was when I sat on the couch next to Sister Adrian in Eastlake with a steno pad in my lap. If you grew up in a black Kingdom Hall in Atlanta or anywhere else in this country, and your mother put a pink hardcover on the bathroom counter on a Saturday morning before a wedding, I see you. If you sat in the small yellow kitchen of a pioneer sister 3 days before you married a brother, and you nodded yes when the answer was no. I see you. If a husband ever called 3 brothers to your living room because of something that happened or did not happen in your bedroom, I see you. If you sat across from 3 brothers in a back room at a Kingdom Hall, while one of them read questions off a typed sheet about the most private hours of your life, I see you. If you have ever wondered, sitting alone in a kitchen of your own years later, whether the silence in your house was your fault, it was not your fault. The architecture was designed before you were born. The questions were typed before you were 18. The room was built before your grandfather helped build the hall that holds it. I am 26 years old. I am 18 months out. I am the daughter of a pioneer mother who has not spoken my name since November of 2024, and the granddaughter of an elder who died in 2009 believing every word. I am the niece of Aunt Diane, who left in 2003 and brings sweet potato pie on Saturdays. I am the older sister of Hannah, who is 21 and has not yet been to her first kitchen. I am the woman who wrote 43 pages from memory on a Wednesday in November and keeps them in a manila folder on a second shelf. I do not know yet what I will do with the pages. I do not know yet whether Hannah will ever read them. I do not know yet whether the 19-year-old wife Tree married in March of 2026 will sit at a yellow kitchen table this autumn and nod yes when the answer is no. I only know that the pages exist now. They did not exist before. That is the only sentence I have for what 18 months have given me. I am still here. The hall does not own you. I am the proof.